G'day guys, welcome back to another fishing report. This week's fishing report, we're going to be talking about what's been biting around Botany Bay, Port Hacking and Sydney Harbour this week. Again, similar to the last couple of weeks, there's been quite a lot of salmon being caught in the river. Looking for birds and looking for the surface action has been the key to being able to find them. If there isn't any birds working over a big bait ball or any surface action, slow trolling hard bodies around your deeper edges of your bays in the harbour, Botany Bay and Port Hacking have been producing quite a lot of fish. When we're targeting these sort of fish, people have been using our low light conditions to be able to catch them. So our sunrise and our sunset to be able to go out and get them. Again, the snapper out offshore have been producing quite well with consistent captures now coming in off most of the reefs offshore. Where I've been fishing off Cronulla has been producing at all the nice shallow reefs, but the only thing is they've only been biting for about 2 to 2.5 hours max around the tide change or around sunrise and sunset. The trevally have been caught in numbers as well, so in Botany Bay around the runways, people have been anchoring up and bellying up for their trevally, as well as pushing along sand flats with weed beds and a little bit of structure around Towra and the point there at Towra to be able to catch some really nice trevally. In the Port Hacking here where I'm at today, Lilly Pilly in Southwest Arm, the drop-offs around there have been producing some really nice trevally, you know, fish in excess of 45 centimetres, which is quite a fairly good sized trevally for Sydney. So for the weekend, we've got some nice conditions in regards to the weather. The only issues are two things. So our swell and our winds this weekend. We got a westerly blowing all weekend at about 25 to 30 k's an hour, which for some people, and including myself, can be quite tough to fish in. So you need to make sure that you actually go and fish certain areas. So when I'm talking about fishing certain areas, because we have a northwesterly and a southwesterly over the weekend, I'd be making sure I'm sitting on the westerly sides of our bays to hide away from the wind, but also just to give yourself a bit of peace of mind as well to be able to go out and have a fish for the weekend. So any type of the westerly bays here, so we've got Northwest Arm, Southwest Arm in Port Hacking. We've also got the western side of Lilly Pilly and all of the western sides of that Southwest Arm as well to be able to go out and have a fish. In Botany Bay, along that western side, you've got places all the way along Georges River, but mainly I'd be looking at the bridges. So our Como Bridge, our Tom Ugley's Bridge and our Captain Cook Bridge are all the three that I would be looking at to be able to go have a fish and looking for a bit of structure. Again, over the weekend, we've got a nice tide change in the morning around our sunrise. So that might be our key bite window. Okay, so over Saturday and Sunday, our tide changes are happening roughly about 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning. It's a beautiful run-in tide to a run-out. So we can fish the back end of that, top of that tide and the run-in, and then hopefully fish the majority of that run-out tide for the morning and be able to catch a nice capture of fish. So if I was going to go fishing over the weekend, looking at the conditions, I'd be looking at the westerly corners of our systems, and I'd be looking for our tide change around sunrise and sunset. So another good thing we have, apart from the wind and the swell being the two bad things, everything else on the forecast for this weekend is looking really good. Our moon rises and moon sets are around sunrise and sunset, and our tide changes are around sunrise and sunset. So when I'm talking about this, I sort of look at 6 different things, the 6 bite windows that you might have. So 2 of them are our sunrise and sunset, are our 2 bite windows. Then we have our 2 tide changes that generally will happen throughout the day. Most of the areas around Sydney will have 2 tide changes, so that's 4 of the 6. And then obviously our last 2 are our moon phases, our moonrise and moonset. So those are the 6 sort of bite windows that I'm looking at. Okay, now if we can combine some of these bite windows together, so if we can combine a moon rise around a tide change, I would say we have a double bite window there, which makes it even more prevalent to be able to go out and fish during that. Now, if we have a tide change, a moon rise or moon set around a sunrise or sunset, we have 3 factors there that will come together. And technically, you can only have 3 of them join Obviously, you can't have a sunrise and sunset at the same time, and you can't have a high tide and a low tide at the same time, nor can you have a moonrise or a moonset at the same time. So when we're looking at bite windows, it's like an out of three sort of mode. And this weekend, both sunrise and sunset have the 3 out of 3s. So don't expect much during the middle of the day. There is a tide change during the middle of the day, but again, it's not going to be as good as our 3 out of 3 sort of stuff. Whereas our midday, we're only going to say it's a 1 out of 3 because there's no moonrise or moonset, just a tide change. That's a little key for you guys when we're looking at the weather and we're trying to plan what we're going to do. Rather than just going out blindly, what can we actually use to make our fishing and our time spent fishing more prevalent? So if I'm planning to go out Saturday or Sunday this weekend, again, we're heading to our westerly corners of our areas. So like I'm fishing on the Port Hacking right now. We've got Gymea Bay. That's another beautiful spot to be able to go fish out of the wind to make our fishing a bit more easier and more comfortable. If you're happy to be in the wind, I would be going to the deeper spots of our bays and estuaries, looking for the bait, slowing down, using our sounder to our advantage, and being able to find the fish first, dropping baits, lures, vibes, whatever sort of stuff you want to use to be able to catch your fish this weekend. So that's the fishing report for this week. One last thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is Reelcast. My brand new podcast is now officially launching. I've been posting my weekly fishing reports up on my Reelcast channel, podcast platform as well. So if you're a podcast listener and you enjoy listening to podcasts, look up Reelcast on any podcast platform. That's REEL Cast. REELCAST on any podcast platform to catch some really, really interesting content, whether it be the weekly fishing reports. I've got angler profiles where I'm interviewing famous fishing people here in Australia. We have By the Gills, Sam Gilchrist at the moment up live, ready to go. And that's going to go live, the full episode, on Tuesday. So what's live right now on the channel, we have the angler profile for Sam Gilchrist, which is an insight into Sam Gilchrist and who he is as a person. Some cool, quick, short, sharp questions to be able to get to know who our angler for the week is. And then next Tuesday, the full episode of Sam By the Gills Gilchrist is going to be dropping, talking about his life, his fishing journey since the first memory of fishing all the way up until this present time, but also talking about his love for catching snapper on soft plastic. So don't forget, it will be live here on this channel if you want to go watch the video version of it. But if you do not want to go watch the video version, it is on all podcast platforms at Reelcast. So yeah, don't forget to follow Reelcast on all podcast platforms. Download the episode, give it a listen, write a comment, give me a review, let me know who you want to hear next on the podcast. As always, don't forget to go to 7 Seas Apparel. Use code REELFISHING10 to save yourself 10% off anything 7 Seas Apparel. 7 Seas Apparel have hoodies, long sleevers, beanies, all sorts of stuff to keep you warm and cozy all while going out for a fish throughout winter. So again, don't forget to use code REELFISHING10. That's REEL Fishing10 to save yourself 10% off at 7seasapparel.com. And that's going to do it for today's fishing report. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hope you'll go out and catch a few fish. Please let me know how you guys went over the weekend. It'd be great to hear that you guys took on some of my tips and advice and went out there and actually caught some really, really nice fish. So hope you all enjoyed it. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Peace out.